Hello there and welcome to a very sunny Barcelona for day 3 notebook of F1 2017 and the winter testing. So I like to deliver on my promises, and I promised you that I was going to show you the Toro Rosso because A, it's a beautiful car, and B, it's got a very, very nice trick solution to the front suspension layout, which only the Mercedes-Benz has as well. So we're just expecting Danny Kvyat in and to have a look at some of the aero detail. Really, we're seeing two groups of what cars are doing, what people are doing with aerodynamics, and really Mercedes and Toro Rosso fit into the same kind of group. There's an amazing split screen, you might be able to find it on the internet somewhere, of half a Toro Rosso and half a Mercedes. Not only have they gone for the same front suspension layout, but they've also gone for the same nose cone as well. So real similarities here. Here it comes, right. Off we go, Simon, we can fill our boots. And a new livery as well, which has really caught the eye as Toro Rosso's changed from their traditional livery. And if we have a look at this front suspension, you can see the top element of it just comes up above the wheel hub area. And that's purely for aerodynamics. It just leaves a lot of space underneath these front suspension wishbones for the air to go underneath the car. It's a trick that a lot of the teams have been doing with the rear suspension. That's been raised beyond to where it would normally be for aerodynamic benefit before. And what they did with the rear suspension is now commonplace. They are now doing with the front suspension. But it's only Toro Rosso and Mercedes who both came up with the same idea independently over the winter, and the only ones that have got it so far. So there we go, it's running well so far. We've got John Booth on the left and James Key and Jody Eggington. They're all looking at the Toro Rosso's pace and see how it will go in winter testing. Can't show you the car anymore and the lovely livery because the ever-present screens are up. So obviously Ross Brawn hasn't got round to banning those screens just as yet. But from cars, let us move on to drivers. And around turn 3 of this Barcelona circuit, they are pulling more than 5G with these wider track and these wider tyres. So they've had to work very hard, the drivers, over the winter on their neck muscles. But who has done the best job on building up their neck muscles? I thought it was time for an F1 collar-sized challenge. I decided to channel my inner John Inman, Mr. Humphreys from Are You Being Served, and started with a playful Daniel Ricciardo. Hello, well, we're used to drivers building up their muscles and necks and everything for the increased loads, and we're going to start the F1 collar-sized challenge.
Oh, really?
Weird.
Are we testing? All right, good thing I kept a bit of a beard today. Might gain an extra centimetre.
With Daniel Ricciardo. Has it been hard, or is it just like going back to... Because the cars have been pretty easy to drive recently, haven't they? Let's be honest, in recent years. Well, no, I mean, not easy, but physically, you haven't really had to push it too much, and now you are. Is that fair to say?
I think it's, like, certainly we approach the pre-season like it's going to be the toughest thing we've ever, done physically. So, yeah, the pre-season was intense, and we're prepared for, as I said, something that's a beast. So, I think yesterday we got a taste of it, but I think it's going to be it's going to get a lot quicker as well. Are we really doing this?
Well, yeah, if you're up for the challenge. So you hold it. Let's see. I mean, I'm an 18.
What are you? 18?
I'm an 18, yeah, but that's just because I've got a fat neck.
It's inches, I guess.
That's
how do we do it?
You put it around your neck and...
How's the numbers? This way. Who have you done so far? Anyone?
You're first. I'm the only one who's done. Well, no, because we haven't... Hang on. No, other end.
I got ya.
There you go. Keep going. And you can tense up.
No, I can't do that.
Oh, okay. All
right.
Yeah.
I'll keep a natural neck.
Perfect. Okay, so in centimetres,
what are we
it's 40 centimetres.
40?
And that is only 16 and a half.
Really? Your neck's fatter than mine?
Yeah, my neck's fatter than yours.
You like how I said fatter?
16 and a half.
It's not muscle.
Okay, right, that's good. 16 and a half. I'll just put it down in my book. Thank you very much, Daniel.
You're welcome.
16 and a half.
So I got to do more weights and you got to eat less burgers?
Pies. Yeah.
Okay.
What did I say? 40 centimetres?
40, yeah, 40.
I've forgotten already.
It is 40.
Is it? Okay.
I just did the math.
All right. Good. So we put everything Ricciardo. D. So we'll have a whole list at the end of it with
I'll take this
who's
to
done the
bathroom
best.
now and get the other measurement.
I knew you'd go there.
Well, you said.
Well, nowhere near as many smiles down here at McLaren as there are at Red Bull. In fact, we've just come out of it's the middle of the afternoon. We've just come out of a rather sort of, well, quite frankly, depressing press conference with Eric Boullier and Yosuke Hasegawa from Honda, where they've said that there are problems. They don't really know all of them at the moment, what they are. We've talked about the oil tank issue and the redesign, the fix that's been put in place for that, and where does it leave them? So, yeah, I mean, let's find out. Where you okay? That was all rather depressing.
Now fine. Look, it's sunny. The ham is very good.
The ham,
Yeah,
the jamon iberico.
Jamon iberico, yes.
I can't believe we're going through this again, Eric.
Yes and no. I mean, obviously, it's not expected.
Come down here.
It's not welcome, definitely. But this is what it is, and we have to go through on being professional and trying to get the best that we have, and we need to work. I mean, we have. It's not only on lap time, obviously, today, but we new car, new concept, new platform. We have a lot of systems and everything to sort out and to understand.
We're in the sun. Where should we go, Simon? Sorry, we should have figured this out before, but maybe we should go in the sun here where it's... well, tell us about the oil tank issue. Is that too bright for you? That Mr. Hasegawa was talking about there. So there was it's an all-new Honda engine this year, all new layout, and he was saying that there was an unexpected issue with the design of the oil tank. I thought you have these, do they model these things in computers and you see how these things work and you can see how, with the loadings, the pickup of the oil, this should all be sorted out before it hits the track, shouldn't it?
Yes, but if you change some processes, maybe you can miss some of this. I guess now we have found a reasonable modifications which allow us to run, so it's fine.
Okay, do those modifications allow you to run 100% on the engine?
Yeah, fine.
Really? It's not running in a derated mode because of these modifications?
No, because of this modification.
Oh, it might be running in a derated.
It's not derated because we have to do some laps, you know. And obviously you have to be conservative when you start the season with a couple of issues. You obviously find a way to be conservative, to be derated if you want. Not because of the oil tank, just because we need to do some laps and to understand the car.
Because Mr. Hasegawa also talked about some other issues with the second engine that was changed, I think it was, that's on its way back to Sakura at the moment. Yesterday, it's on its way back to Japan, where they don't really know what happened to it. Is that the case?
Well, we know what happened, we don't know why it happened. And obviously tomorrow we should get the result of the investigation.
Okay. All right. How far behind is the development of the car? Just 2 days?
It's nothing to do with the development. Well, we just obviously, in terms of covering a program for understanding what's going on, understanding the car, understanding the aero platform, and obviously all the glitches you may find on a new car. Yes, we're lacking mileage, but in terms of development, it doesn't change anything. Development is done based on computers and simulation, and obviously we're already manufacturing and producing what we'll have in Australia, but in the back in working in the design office, we're already working in Barcelona in 2 months. So already we are there, you know.
Okay. Can all this be fixed in time for not only Melbourne, but the second test next week?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we should have another engine spec next week, which is based on the round one spec. So I hope it's going to be fixed, and the learning out of this testing engine will be done, obviously, and fixed.
We always knew when the McLaren-Honda relationship started, and that difficult first couple of years, that it would take time, didn't we, Eric? You'll get there eventually, Honda will get there eventually, but it will take time. Is McLaren's patience starting to wear a bit thin?
I don't think so. I mean, you have to be pragmatic with what you have. We are not happy with where we are, of course. I don't think our patience is waning faster than it should, but we want to get some result, and definitely, at least we started from very far. from a very immature project, and we have improved last year, even if it's not where we want to be. And what we definitely don't want is to get worse this year. We need to be better. We have to be better. And this is also why we have behind the scene a lot of, would say, positive pressure to make sure we do what we have to do.
And if it is not better, will McLaren start looking elsewhere for engines into the future?
I'm not gonna go into this debate. It's we are very happy. Our relationship is very good with Honda. It's normal under the pressure and the spotlights in Formula One. To have some, as I said, positive pressure. But we not get anywhere else so far. We are happy with the marriage, but we need to make it work.
Okay, so not yet into the marriage guidance counselling situation. It's just a bit of a domestic at the moment. Or I told you to do the washing up. Why don't you do the washing up?
Maybe
I told you.
A couple of plates. But
a couple of plates.
It's my Latin side. Sorry.
Okay. Well, no. Listen. At least you can keep your chin up, as they say.
Well, exactly.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much
Thanks,
for your time, Eric. Right, beautiful day here. In a moment, after the break, we will round up day 3's running here in Barcelona. Hello again, welcome back to the Notebook for day 3 of the first test of Formula 1 2017 here in Barcelona, and welcome back to Siberia. This is the end of the paddock where Sauber are, and I'm afraid to say, now that we've had the official news today with the FIA entry list that Manor have not been saved, despite there was a last-ditch attempt by this venture capital group to actually put some money around to possibly buy them, but it was only a 1% chance. And they could have made it, actually, because the season starts a bit later this year than it did last year. But it didn't happen. So now Sauber will be, it looks, the backmarkers, the lone backmarkers in Formula One, because here they are, and it's really empty down there. It feels like Siberia as well. Not many sponsors on the car. I like this 25 years in Formula One. Kind of looks like something you get on a chocolate wrapper, doesn't it? I'm not making that link because they're Swiss. It just looks that kind of thing. But actually, they've had quite a good day, have Sauber, because Marcus Ericsson did 126 laps. Wow. For P6. So hope springs eternal. Maybe they won't actually be... interesting. Back of a truck. Maybe they won't actually be last. Well, but we'll see. We'll see. So best lap time of the test so far for him was set on the super soft tyre, and they did more aero tests today and tyre work as they've been doing all day long. They haven't actually done a hugely properly qualifying lap. Yes, it was a super soft tyre, but it wasn't massively low fuel, so they say. There is the wet test tomorrow, so Pirelli are watering the track and keeping it watered, and they're going to test the intermediate and the full wet tomorrow, something that Lewis Hamilton said he wasn't particularly looking forward to. I'll tell you more about that in a second. Now, it's been a difficult day for Renault, despite everyone keeping their chins up and having lovely hugs and eating cake, apparently, if you follow them on Twitter. It seems to be all they do all day, because they got their rear wing. They were told that their rear wing is basically illegal and they have to change it, because the rear wing support comes up from where it takes the load in the middle of the centre of the middle of the car, the back of the car, just south of the engine cover, comes up and mounts to the rear wing at the DRS little shroud where the little activator goes up and moves the movable rear wing. Sorry, I'll stop doing that. And you're not allowed to do that. It has to go out and actually hit the rear wing, and then you can put it in line with the DRS actuator. You can't actually make it part of the same thing. So there's been a little bit of a mistake there somewhere along the line, a misinterpretation, or some wires have got crossed, and they're not allowed to run it, so they've got to change it. Probably for the second test, if they can. Otherwise, definitely for Melbourne. Now, this is for Lance Stroll, because I was going to say, sorry, I'll tell you, I forgot to say, sorry, excuse me, Renault haven't finished at all. Nico Hülkenberg, 42 laps, P5. So the times were there, sort of. Jolyon Palmer, 51 laps and P4. So a nice time from Jolyon Palmer. He did a lot of aero measurement in the morning. He actually had a spin when the aero rake was on the car as well, but recovered nicely and did some good laps. And some more work still to do together with that rear wing as well. Right, before we do McLaren. We might as well do Williams, seeing as everyone's waiting here for Lance Stroll. And there's a crew from Canada there. This chap in the blue T-shirt with over just right in the front. He's from Réseau de Sport, RDS, or the Sports Network. RDS. And Montreal has signed an extension to the Grand Prix till 2029. Wow. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the first circuit extension post Bernie Ecclestone. I have a feeling it might have been kind of agreed with Bernie before he got sort of moved upstairs by Liberty Global. But that might be the first one to actually be confirmed since Bernie has been moved into his emeritus position further up. So I thought that was interesting. But anyway, Lance Stroll didn't have a great day. He did do 98 laps, so plenty of laps under his belt, and P9. But again, he had a couple of spins today. He spun into the gravel at turn 3 and 4 earlier on in the day, and then around 5 p.m. he spun the exit of turn 5 and hit the barriers, and they couldn't run after that because they had further problems with spare parts, i.e. they didn't have any, but he's done a lot of laps and progress of a kind for Lance Stroll. We didn't manage to do the Know Your Driver, get to know your driver bit with Lance Stroll. Hooray, I hear you say. Those questions are terrible. Well, yes, they might be, but do get to learn a bit about him. But he was busy in the car today, so he didn't manage to do it. We'll do it sometime in the future. I know you'll look forward to that. Right, McLaren. Well, you saw the bit with Eric Boulier earlier, and not much more to say, really. They had at least some laps today. Wasn't so bad in terms of getting some experience and some mileage on the car, albeit with the turned-down engine that Eric referred to. 72 laps, P10, not quick. And something interesting that you might not have heard of is that McLaren changed their methodology of how they run the car in the wind tunnel. They used to run it just in a straight line and then sort of computationally figure out what would happen when the car was going through corners. But they used to depend and report all their downforce findings on the car in a straight line. And they thought, well, that's ridiculous. A couple of years ago, they changed it so that now they tend to try and measure downforce when the car's in a corner, knowing that if it's good in a corner, then it'll be great on a straight when you don't really need the downforce anyway. Now, for all I know, all the teams do this, and McLaren were just late to the party, but I don't think they were. So they were talking about it at the launch. I thought it was quite interesting. So a lot of their CFD work goes on about, you're right, Simon, careful, there are these little things, about downforce in corners. So let's just hope now that the car has a good basic foundation in terms of downforce, they know that, the computer tells them that they can actually pile on some downforce and use it with a bit of power in the back. Right, Sebastian Vettel, Ferrari, he was P2 with a whacking 139 laps today. We've just spoken to him. Good number of laps. He did cause a red flag 5 minutes before the end, but we think that was with a fuel out test. And he says the cars are more fun, did Seb. They have higher corner speeds, and it's like Formula One cars 10 years ago. He wasn't driving in 2007, 2006. But I guess he would have tested them. BMW? Yeah, he might have tested a BMW Sauber back then. But certainly he's probably driven Ferraris from back in that time. And it is. That's kind of what the speeds we're thinking of. It's back to kind of when, sort of 2000s Ferrari, Renault, when they were winning championships. So that looks like the speeds we're going back to. He said, I'm fine, I'm very fit. I've only had 2 days in the car, but no major problems. The car's hasn't had any major problems either. We're looking like we're reliable as well. And I've already got used to, said Seb, the increased speeds. But there's more to come. And the car itself looked a little bit nervous in the slow speed, the chicane at the back of the circuit. It was sliding around a bit, but traction does seem to be better than last year. They focused a little bit on that and improved it, so that's good to hear. Now, Haas F1 had a harder day with lots of little problems, annoying problems, which kept them in the garage for about an hour at a time when they had these issues. Look, we've got the wet tyres ready for tomorrow, and the wet inters, they do look massive, don't they? I mean, they all look massive, because they are, but so that's the wet inters and the full wets there as well. Although if it was as warm as it was today, they're going to need to keep stopping the session to actually re-water the track. But well, we'll see. We're going to do development corner tomorrow, but I'll look out the windows, tell you what's happening. Romain Grosjean, his first day in the car, 56 laps, P8, and a slow morning. He didn't get out very quickly earlier on because they had these little problems, as I say. He got sort of half the mileage, Grosjean got half the mileage that K-Mag did yesterday, and it was just little things that Günther Steiner said he was a little bit frustrated with. But anyway, all part of testing. It's not a bad base to build on, but probably staying about where they are, I would have thought. It's a top 6, 7, 8 position, that kind of car, it seems, the Haas this year. But Gene Haas was here sporting a leather jacket with winner Daytona 500 for Kurt Busch, and so well, congratulations to that. Was it Carl Busch? Force India, Antonio Alfonso Salis. Shall I start again? Force India had Alfonso Salis, the Fonz, in the car, and he's a test driver and development driver, of course. 71 laps, P12, last of all, 3.8 seconds off the pace. They weren't really going for performance, so they said he had to get used to the new car. He had aero rakes, and they were doing tyre work as well, and baseline setups with the same, tyre work with a baseline setup, so they weren't changing the setup according to the tyres to make Salis actually feel a bit quicker in the car. They were just doing tyres back to back to see how the tyre behaved, if you follow me. So that explains why he was comparatively so slow. He did damage the floor at some bit, we think on a curb perhaps, and they had to change it over lunch, which made them a bit slow to get out after lunch. They were running with the super softs, the ultra softs, at the end of the day, and then a red flag came out, so he might have improved his time had the red flag not come out for Sebastian Vettel, I told you about just a second ago. But otherwise, Salis said that these cars are less forgiving than those he had driven in the past. And that was the intention, wasn't it? To make these cars for men, not boys. And that is something that Lewis Hamilton reflected on when he was talking just a minute ago. He said, these cars will sort the men from the boys. You can see the headlines writing themselves in the papers, can't you? He had a lot to say, Lewis Hamilton. He said, it's been a great test. I got the first race run done today. Sorry, while I just consult the analog auto cue here with the old notebook. Got the first race distance done. My training has worked well. No problems with the neck, although there was a picture of him resting his neck at one point in a corner. Anyway, in the first week, he said, you never get close to the ultimate potential of the car. Next week, we'll be dialing it in. Physically, I feel I can do a whole day, but team has wanted to split the drivers half and half. He's not looking forward to the wet tests, said Lewis. I might fake a pulled muscle in the morning and let Valtteri Bottas do it. Ha ha. We didn't quite know if he was joking, whether he's actually done that in the past. He has missed tests in the past, Lewis, hasn't he? But I'm sure he hasn't been faking it. He has said he hasn't been watching Valtteri Bottas. He's just been doing his stuff. Valtteri's feedback is solid. He's doing a great job. And I'm going to continue. Craig asked him if he's going to continue living his life, going off and enjoying himself between races. Yes, I'm going to continue living the life I love. Self-motivation has never been a problem for me. The motivation comes from within myself. I'll continue to explore the world. There's a potential. He was talking about Liberty's takeover and potential for F1 to be far more popular than it is. He didn't think it scratched the surface of what F1 could be. Quickest car I've ever driven. We haven't done low fuel runs yet. We have the cars. The cars will split the men from the boys, as I told you. There's not more power, and in fact, we're not quicker on the straight, said Lewis Hamilton. It's just that we're so quick in the corners. It's amazing. The corners are absolutely flat out. It's incredible, said Hamilton, how deep and late I can get into the corners. Coming into a corner like turn 9, I'm like a kid on a roller coaster. It's absolutely fantastic. But he did have a warning that these following other cars is not good. It's worse, in fact, Hamilton said. Bonsoir. To follow another car, it is to be expected, but Hamilton raising the warning flags, as he has before, that the racing suffer with these new rules and technical specifications of the cars. We've heard that before. He didn't know what would happen when all cars are following lots of other cars. You see, he's only follow one car at a time. So let's reserve judgment. I'm not being, defensive. I just don't know. We don't know, do we? But Hamilton said following is definitely much worse, harder to follow. Oh dear. Right, but it's not my problem. I plan to lead from the front, qualify front and lead from the front. Talked about James Allison. Today is, of course, James Allison's first day at work at Brackley with the Mercedes team, and he said he looks forward to working with him and seeing what he brings to the team. Right, we can finish with, I haven't done Toro Rosso. Kvyat did 31 laps, P13. Sainz did 32 laps with P11. They split the running. Sainz spun into the gravel at turn 4. later on in the afternoon. Kvyat was slow out this morning as well. And on the entry form that I referred to earlier, gotcha, they have a TBC on their engine, which is interesting. They're going to try to flog their naming rights to their engine to, well, presumably the highest bidder, but like Red Bull have done with that watch brand that seemingly is an engine there. There's Christian Horner. We'll just finish off with him and say, Daniel Ricciardo, decent day, P3, 70 laps. Exhaust problem kept you in the garage for most of the afternoon, but otherwise it's looking quite good.
You summed it up beautifully, Ted.
Why do I do that?
Well, I don't need to tell you anything else. You've said everything.
And look at this last thing I've got to say in the notebook. Suspension story hotting up. There's been a technical directive. The FIA is asking every team to prove that they're within the regulations. This is getting to be unnecessary and boring. And can they not just change the rules now, or has everyone designed their cars around these suspensions?
Well, don't we have to prove that our car's within the rules with all the other bits as well all the time? But
you've got a document from Charlie Whiting saying yours is all right, haven't you?
We're pretty happy our car complies with the rules. But yeah, I mean, you know, obviously everybody's got the right to protest in regulations that are immensely complex, obviously. But you know, I'd rather see some of these little winglets tidied up, to be honest with you. Not that they're against the regulations, but I just think aesthetically, before people start chasing development in that area, be good to, because it's the one thing that I think does spoil the look of the cars.
The coat hangers, yes. Do you think Charlie might ban them for Melbourne on safety grounds? Because they fall off, that very nasty thin bits of carbon fibre, and could shred tyres.
You know, hopefully the FIA, you know, and the teams come to a sensible position on it, but I'm sure all our aero guys now are saying, no, don't say that. We'll, you know, we're working on our own moustache type aero device, but I think for the aesthetics of the car, it'd be better without them. But I think, you know, having a look on track, I think the cars look great.
Apart from those coat hangers on the back.
Yeah, apart from that, I mean, but that's a small detail. I think overall, you know, the width of the cars, the dimensions look very good.
Okay. Do you want to say goodbye, or shall I?
Well, it's good night from Ted.
And it's good night from Christian. Good night.